Hi everyone, and welcome back to my vlog. So today I thought I would give you some writing tools and writer's tricks, because if you are training to be a writer, if you are training to maybe one day write that book, or maybe you just need some writing exercises or quick writing tips, then definitely follow my series, because I will give you a few videos this upcoming week on what writers do to build their craft. And this is especially helpful if you are creating content, because you're building story and you're bringing out character, you're setting scenes, all that kind of stuff. So the first thing I would get is, if you are going to write, whether you are writing your biography, whether you're writing a blog post, or you are actually working on a full-length book, I would get this steno book. Now, if you're saying, oh, I keep notes in my phone, or oh, I like to just keep voice memos, or oh, I'm just gonna sit down and whatever comes to me is gonna work. No, you've got to organize your thoughts in some way or form. Now, these books are perfect because, I don't know if you guys can see, if you can focus it very well, but I have my chapter outlines here. And it's really important to work from an outline, because you got to know which direction you're going to go. You got to know who your characters are going to meet. And the same thing would be true if you were doing a video. You kind of storyboard a little bit. You know, like, how you want to set the scene. You know where you're going to go and where you're going to grab your video footage from. So same concept. Now, I can already hear you saying, well, I just keep notes in my phone. All right, if you choose to do that, you can always use an app like Evernote. But the reason I stay away from phones is because when you get back to your workspace, your phone has to go across the room. It has to go away, because it will distract you. That's why you need a notebook or something that's just pen and paper, all your thoughts at once, where you can just work from that and not your phone, because you will not get work done around if there's your phone. Maybe you're disciplined, but I'm not, in that regard at least, to get work done without my phone. So now that you're working in a distraction-free environment and you have all your thoughts organized on your notebook, guess what? You are stuck and you need a word. So what do? Well, you power through anyway and know the words that you already have in your mind. Whatever you do, do not go find a thesaurus. If you need a thesaurus, you have already lost. Use the words you already have. And if you feel like you don't have a big enough vocabulary, maybe English is not your first language, or maybe you just never was someone who just will throw out big words, extravagant words, well, then read more. The more you read, the better your vocabulary will get, without you having to feel like you need to study words, and it'll become part of your language. But if you have to get a thesaurus, you're just going to throw in heavy words that may not even belong there. And if you think, okay, well, I don't write for a living, what does this have to do with my business? If you write copy and headlines and you just think that word doesn't fit in your copy, and you right click on it and say, oh, let me check thesaurus synonyms, and you find a word that's too heavy and too long and it's not in plain enough language, guess what? You've already lost your readers. So stay away from thesauruses, stay away from all kinds of heavy words. Use plain and simple language. Simple is always best. Do not make it complicated. And bring out the words that you would naturally speak. Believe me, that will help. So next thing you need is a book of baby names. And this is especially true if you're writing fiction. Now, if you're like, okay, well, I'm not a fiction writer, that's ridiculous. Well, you do need to create your avatar. You do need to put in hypothetical situations and stuff like that. So I would just get it anyway, because you need to create character. You need to build character. So you will think of like the meaning behind certain naming conventions, whether or not you're naming a character, or you're naming a product, or you're naming a campaign. So I would get good at naming tricks and conventions, because people are always looking at the double meaning behind things too, right? Like if you choose a certain name, you want to know what that name, the origin and the root word and the meaning behind it, and it's going to have this meaning in your story. Well, same thing for your product. We launched a product, it's an old company I used to work for, and we kept thinking all of these names for this Pilates machine, and it was going to be a brand new huge design, and we had all these innovative names. But when it came down to the final decision maker, they chose a really, really poor name that didn't even make sense, had no meaning to it. Only the CEO who chose the name had the meaning to it, knew it, and it didn't resonate well. So get good at naming things. It's really important. Now, the last thing that I would say is super, super important about writing and creating in general is that you've got to learn the process of reinventing yourself. And reinventing yourself is that point where you are back to a beginner again and you have to immerse yourself in a whole different field and bring it to life. Now, writers do this constantly. When we go back to the beginning of a new story, we have to immerse ourselves in the world and build that world again, and then put it all together and make it make sense and slowly reveal it little by little. That is what we do as writing. It sounds really complicated when you look at it. Filmmakers do the same thing. And even if you're doing so much as an ad, a 20-second commercial, you are still doing the same thing. You set the scene, you build it up, and then you use the hook and grab them to build enough interest to get them back to your site or back to your email list, wherever it is you want to lead them. So you have to reinvent yourself each time. You're going to start from each beginning of the story. You have to get into that beginner's mindset. Steve Jobs even said, it was a famous quote by him, which I'm probably sure I'm going to botch right now, but it was to wake up every day with a beginner's mind. And that's exactly for that reason. Every time you start something new and you start something new to launch, go back and immerse yourself into it. Find out why you love it. Immerse yourself in the process once again. If you feel like you're a beginner, you will immerse yourself and love the process. So those are the crazy things that writers do that you guys can use and bring that into your content. It actually really, really helps, whether it's not just how you name and set things up or how you organize your thoughts and stay distraction free, or just the fact that you get to learn something and progress and reinvent yourself every single time you start a new story. It is one of the best things about creating. So keep creating. I will see you guys in my next vlog, which will be more writing tips or more exciting things to see in LA. So subscribe if you like that, and I will see you guys later.